welcome to day 21 of Vlogmas. So first of all, I just want to apologise because yesterday I was like, tomorrow's going to be the 20th and was going on about how it's the 19th in the Vlogmas, and then when I was editing it and I went to post it, I realised it actually was the 20th yesterday. So sorry about that. Also, like, half of this makeup is rubbed off, half of this is still on, so maybe I should try and even it up. I rub this off a bit. I had a very cute outfit on today. My mystery item was some tights and it was fantastic. Spoiler alert. But I was working just some lunch cover again today, and when I came home it was so stormy outside and I got absolutely soaked, so I decided to get changed into some very comfy loungewear, Christmas loungewear. Well, to be fair, this is just a Christmas jumper I haven't worn yet this year. And then I was going to sit down and watch Love Actually and wrap up some Christmas presents, but you know me, I fell asleep on the sofa, so it is now 10 o'clock at night, so sorry that this video is going to be late going up. But yeah, I still do intend to watch Love Actually and wrap my Christmas presents just after this. So for today's video, I thought we could go through my 2024 highlights, because to be honest, this has been the best year of my life so far, I think. Definitely of my adult life. A lot has happened this year. It's been crazy, really, how much has happened all in this one year. I feel like the me finishing this year and the me starting this year are quite different people. And I feel very grateful for that. It's been a very healing, wholesome year. Basically, I've written a list of all the things that have happened each month. Some things are like minimal, some things are like I wore this cute outfit, other things are more substantial. But let's get stuck into it. So I have my notebook, and then I'm going to be imposing pictures and little clips and different things I've been doing in here. So I'm going to go through those at the same time to make sure I don't miss anything that I want to put in it. The first thing was literally New Year's Day. Me and Mum went to watch The Ba together for the first time. If you haven't watched my previous videos where I spoke about The Ba, it's basically a game that happens in Orkney where two teams come and they compete to win the Ba, and they do that by getting the Ba to the right place. It was so much fun and it was hilarious because Mum got so into it. Like, at one point she scaled a wall. It was just crazy. So I'll pop some pictures in there, and it was just such a happy, fun memory of that day, and it just started the new year off perfectly. It was very snowy as well. It was like a that's like the two main things of January was the Ba, and then it snowed a lot. So there was a lot of snow days, like everywhere shut, but because I live so centrally, I went out every day in it, so I just put on my wellies and my waterproofs and I just trudged through it, and I just loved it. It was so scenic and beautiful, and I got really into puzzles and audiobooks. I think because it was like that bit just after Christmas where you would be going back to work, but I wasn't going back to work. So I would, like, I'd go for a little wander in the snow, come home, and then do a puzzle and listen to an audiobook, and it was like peak relaxation. I loved it. Also in January I started to post on TikTok a lot more. So it's kind of crazy to think it's only been like a year of me posting, and I've gone from just posting on TikTok and then having an Instagram, and now I have a YouTube. So a lot has happened like that in 2024. And we're on to February. In February, not really that much happened either, to be honest. I fell totally in love with the poem The Orange by Wendy Cope. So I got the book and I got the badge, and I just love that poem so much. It's that audio from TikTok that plays in my head when I hear it, and it's just such a lovely poem that means so much to me. I'm actually considering getting an orange on my arm somewhere tattooed on because I just love it, and it's kind of become this thing between me and Mum as well, where she like will send me an orange every now and then and be like, I love you, I'm glad you exist, because that's how the poem ends. It says, The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list. I enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. And I, like, even now, just reading it, it just, like, hits in the soul. And I also, in February, started my Instagram page for Jolly Jocelyn, so I could post my fashion content on there as well. At the time, I think I called it Jocelyn Does Fashion, and then I realised that actually I wanted to be somewhere where I can share anything I do, like crafts or anything. Now it's kind of Blythe things as well, but I wasn't at the time. So I've changed it to Jolly Jocelyn. I can't remember when I changed it. But yeah, I started that in February. And then I also thought I'd put in some pictures here of the Galentine's crafts I did. I went to the charity shops and asked if they had any old books that were like beyond selling. And they did. So I took them, I bought them and turned them into roses. And this is what they look like. I love them. I think they're so cute. I just had to delete some footage, so hopefully I've put you back in the right place. That seems right. Okay, then in March, again, not all that much happened. I started sewing again, and this time it was sewing clothes for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. So I made a beautiful gold waistcoat, which I love, and yeah, I'm just totally obsessed with. And then also made this jacket from a quilt that I got from the charity shop, and then I turned it into a coat, which I was pretty damn proud of, to be honest. I also went out exploring quite a bit. I did a lot of sightseeing and fun things. April began my total hyperfixation of Sylvanian families. I don't know if you can see, but this dollhouse here is now completely full of them. I've also got a shelf over there that's full of them. I love them. I think they're the cutest thing, and they do bring me so much joy. And then I also managed to get a Sylvanian's sleeping bag from Orkney Marketplace that I turned into a coat. Again, a massively proud accomplishment. I also did a few stop motion videos with my Sylvanians, which I thought was cute. I'll put a little one in here. And also in April, it was my niece's birthday. So that was a very special, lovely time. She had a birthday party and I got my face painted. Kind of between April and May, I'm a bit foggy on when set things happened around work. I had already been a bit unhappy at my job, and then it kind of just all got significantly worse one day. I don't want to go into the details of it, but yeah, I was really proud of how I handled myself. But yeah, things happened. I was then really very unhappy at work. I had already kind of started looking at other jobs, and then I did hand in my notice. That was a very challenging time. It wasn't fun. It was in fact awful. But I had to be very kind to myself. I didn't have to be, but I was very kind to myself, and I allowed myself space to feel all of the feelings. And I think because of that, I was able to handle myself in a really professional and good way at work. In May, I did a lot more exploring. I went out almost every day after I worked that job. I went for a drive because I found it the best way to clear my head. I didn't want to bring all of it home, so I would go for a drive somewhere, and I started going to this one beach, and I love the beach. It's called Inverness for any locals. No, wrong one, Walkmill. And I went there, which is like not particularly far, but I loved singing really loudly with my music turned fully up and going there. And I remember one day I was feeling quite hopeless and also very stressed because I was like, I need to leave this job, but I need to have another job to go to. But then I ended up just not doing that. I just left it and hoped for the best and that it would all work out, and thankfully it did. But one day I went to the beach. It was a beautiful sunny day and I was really emotional, really quite upset and really struggling. And I think because I am someone who puts my heart and soul into everything, I find it really difficult when it doesn't work out. And I felt a bit, I think a lot of people do when they leave a job that isn't working out. I felt a bit like a failure. I didn't feel good about myself and how that situation worked out, at the same time being really proud of myself and how I handled myself in reflection. At the time it was really difficult. But I went to the beach and I took my socks and shoes off and I stood in the sea and I was like so grounded. I took this picture and I like it just stopped me crying because it was like just so grounding and lovely, and thank God it stopped me crying. And then I went onto Instagram to take this picture, and when I did, I saw Snag Tights had put up an advert on Instagram. So like I clicked on Instagram to take the picture, and then when I clicked on Instagram, the first post that came up was Snag Tights looking for somebody to do TikToks and live videos for TikTok. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this doesn't have to be my life. I can do something else. And so I got out to sea. I went and sat down at this little rock I had found where I sat every time I went to the beach, and I read all the things you had to do to apply. I filled all the things out. I think I had to write something, so I was writing it down in my notes, and then I had to film a 30-second video selling something, and it could be anything. It didn't have to be Snag Tights. And I have a full drawer of Snag Tights, but I wasn't home, and I don't know, but I just needed to do it then. And I was at the beach and I was wearing these sunglasses, and I filmed a 30-second video of me selling these sunglasses. But it was so funny because I was all puffy and red-eyed because I'd been crying. It was just such like a moment where I was like, it was just like a switch went off in my head. I didn't get the job. I did not get the job. I didn't really, well, I did want the job, but I didn't expect to get the job. I couldn't afford to travel loads for work. And I don't really have the space in my house to be a TikTok live presenter. But it was exactly what I needed to get me out of that headspace. It's kind of a tangent, but I think that's probably the hardest part of my year, was that job ending and kind of not working out the way I hoped it would. But then it led on to some very great things. Between the time that I had that revelation, had handed in my notice, all these things had happened. It was then May. I was still out exploring way more, and I was taking time, because I had finished therapy by this point, and I was taking time to be really kind to myself and have a lot of love for myself, and kind of like I really was treating myself how I would treat someone else in the situation, and it was really helpful. So then it was really nice, and I think that's why I coped the way I did cope. I also saw the Northern Lights. I have seen them before, but not for a long time, and it was spectacular. I went to the Standing Stones, which is the Ring of Brodker, which is a standing stone circle. I have always been very drawn there, and I think it's a very spiritual, wonderful place to go if you're feeling a little bit low. And I went there one day and I was there until like midnight and just was watching it all. It's one of those things that like people really say the Northern Lights are spectacular, and they absolutely are, but I would say 90% of the time you can only see them through your phone. You can't actually see them in the sky. But that day I could see them in the sky, and there was like a moment where they like crossed over each other, and there was just like this bright kind of white middle and then all these colours kind of coming off, and it was just so beautiful. I loved it. I also went for a walk with my family in May and saw an otter for the first time, so that was also also incredibly exciting. I would put otter and Northern Lights on par with each other. Like, there's loads of otters in Orkney. First time I've ever seen one. I was mesmerised. In June, I quit my job. and I got a mushroom hat, which was spectacular. I also got calico hair. Look at how glorious my hair looks. Oh my god. I'm getting my hair done in January and I literally cannot wait for it to look and feel like this again. I also, one of my friends that because one of like the best things about the job that failed was I met so many lovely people and I created really wonderful friendships. And one of the lovely people I met through that job runs Pride in Orkney, and she was running a fun day, organising a fun day, and I was like, count me in, I'm keen. So I did a whole lot of baking, and this rainbow cake is one of the best things I've ever made, both in looks and taste. I did a few different rainbow things. I made rainbow fudge as well, but I didn't have any pictures of those left. I don't really know what's happened there, but the cake is still there, and it was so much fun. Also got my face painted again. So in July, I had my interview for my new job at the library. I had actually applied to it, I think, maybe in May? Might have even been, I think it was either May or June. I applied for it and then it took a while and I had my interview. It was actually a good few days until I heard anything, I think. I was still actually working at my last job. I remember it now because the day I got phoned, I was at work and I was just convinced I was not going to get the job because they said they would, I think the interviews happened on a Monday and a Tuesday and my interview was first thing on the Monday and then I was working on the Wednesday and they said that they were going to phone me on the Wednesday to let me know, and I thought, oh, if they've not phoned me by lunchtime, the phone call will be to say that I've not been successful. And my friends were in at the time and I went out the back, my phone rang. It was after lunch, my phone rang, and like the way she spoke, she was like, we really enjoyed your interview and blah 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 blah, but, and I was like, oh god. And then she was like, but yeah, we would just love to offer you the job. And I was like, oh my god, like trying to stay cool and calm because I'm like, you don't know how crazy I am yet. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting, yay, thank you so much, oh my god. And then I hung up the phone and I ran through and I was like, I got the job, I got the job. And me and all my friends were celebrating and it was so lovely and happy and a very fun memory. So yeah, that was great. And then it was either the end of that month or the next month I had started working there. I feel like it took ages from when I got the job to when I started working, but actually looking at the timescale of things, I don't think it did. I have this little video of my first day, like a little schoolgirl. I was like, I just don't know what to wear, I don't know what to do, I have my little rucksack on. Now I don't even take a bag, I just take a coat with pockets. Everything really does happen for a reason. And I think that change in me and in my work, so like how I coped with everything and how I realised I actually am a really strong person, which is difficult to reflect and feel that you are strong, but I'm sure you are, and it made me realise that I am strong. I mean, some people might not think I am, but I think I am, and that change in myself, I think, is why this year has like been the best year of my life so far. And I also just love the job I'm in now too, so it's just like so many great things have happened, and that is probably the main part of my year that was a challenge, but also the best part of my year was leaving it and starting a new job and learning so much about myself. So we'll move on from talking about that because that's boring, and hopefully I haven't offended anyone in what I've said. I think I've stayed very blasé about a lot of it. We also went to Fern Valley in July, which is a very cute little wildlife centre. I'd never been before and it's been in Orkney for ages, but it's very cute. I went with, my mum's a childminder, so I went with her and some of the kids she looks after, my sister and my niece, and it was just a great day out, to be honest. It was so much fun, the animals were so cute, and I wanted to include it because I loved it so much. And then also, I thought it was important to note that in July, my knockoff Blythe got her first outfits. So I had ordered her an outfit when I ordered her, but it didn't fit, I ordered the wrong thing. So then I crocheted a dress just so she wasn't naked, and then she got her first outfits in July, and I started to think, ooh, I think I could like this. I think I could like this hobby. In August, was the shows. So we went to East Midlands show and County show. I did fun makeup for both and it was so much fun. I also went to Doomby show as well. Bubble tea I've written because bubble tea was also a delight of my year, that a local shop has started doing bubble tea and it is bloody delicious. A brown sugar tea, oh my god, it's so good. Also in August I got my tattoos, which is crazy. I love them so much. I could not imagine not having them, and I'm like that way now where like I loved getting them done and I love how they look. I just want so many more, but I just can't decide what and where. I do think I want an orange, I think maybe here, but I also think maybe in here, I don't know, but tattoos are expensive, so that's not happening anytime soon. In August also, my car broke down for the first time. I don't have a picture of it sitting on the side of the road, but this is a picture of my brother-in-law and my niece fixing it. It just overheated. I just hadn't checked the coolant or any of the things that you have to do in the bonnet for ages, and it broke down and it was really quite scary. I thought that would be fun to include because I've had now, in January it'll be 3 years of having the car, so nearly went 3 years without a breakdown. And then also had my sister's birthday and I made her this cake. In September it was my mum's birthday and I made her this cake. I also started to get a bit more experimental with makeup. I'll put in some of the pictures I did when I was trying. I did like a Northern Lights look, I've done a sea themed look. So yeah, I just started to get a lot more experimental with makeup and I'm so glad I did because I love funky makeup, and usually like to me crazy makeup was like eyeliner, and then I did looks like these and I was like, never mind, this is crazy. It was my birthday and also my party, which was so much fun. It was the best time ever. I did a quiz all about me. It was disco themed and I wore a bright pink, I wore a pink dress with a pink wig, and we all met and had a meal and then had a quiz, and it was just so much fun. Oh, and Leanne, the face painter, came and painted all our faces. I just had such a lovely day and it was the best way to celebrate my birthday. I have no idea what I'm going to do for my birthday next year, but I'm going to start planning it right now. And then I also had somebody at the library retired, so I made them a leaving do cake, and this is the cake here. So now we are on to October. So in October it's my fullest month in the notebook. Just ignore Onyx. I went away with Mum to BlytheCon. It was such a fantastic weekend away and I just loved it. We had so much fun together. I loved meeting all of the wonderful BlytheCon people. I won Kendra. I did my first photo shoot with our Blythe. It totally like kindled a love for Blythe. It made me really appreciate Blythe and what Blythe's about, and the fashion and everything behind it, and the way the people were just openly showing their dolls and playing and having fun together. I just loved that all so much. Also in October I did my first, like, I've written special effects makeup-ish because that's kind of what it was. So I did a vampire makeup look, and I honestly, Onyx, come and sit down. I used hot glue to make the dripping blood. I wore vampire fangs that like clipped in. So it was kind of special effects makeup, but also kind of not, because it was mostly just hot glue gun. Oh yes, and I got a copy of Women Living Deliciously signed by Florence Given, which is definitely going in there. I haven't actually read it yet, but I love Florence Given. I think she is probably the biggest shining light on my Instagram feed. She's always so positive, and even if she's not being positive, she's being real, and I just really love her. I love her content, love everything she stands for. I think she's fantastic. Her energy is contagious, and I just was so excited to get a signed copy of the book. Obviously I bought a signed copy of the book, it didn't arrive surprisingly signed. I did buy a signed copy, but she wrote my name, so I'm like, she kind of knows who I am, kind of. I also did my first like proper dolly display, and I did a Halloween dolly display. I made some Halloween cakes for work. I got my first gorgeous doll. I love her so much. I think Gorgeous dolls are so cute. I love them, and I also love how they smell, and if you don't know what a Gorgeous doll is, it's this kind of doll, and they have like a scent on them, so when you open the box they smell, and I have like literally been trying to find like a perfume so you could smell like her, because I just love her smell. I can't find anything. And it was Halloween, so I dressed up. I had Halloween off work and I dressed up as a cat, and I went to mum's house and we had Halloween tea and we had trick-or-treaters come by the house, and it was all lovely. In November, me and mum made the Blythe hats from the Take and Make from BlytheCon. I also started doing mystery makeup looks around that time. Again, it's one of those, like, I'm a bit foggy when I actually started doing that, but I love those. They're my favourite makeup looks to do, when I just get a complete random thing and have to try and match my makeup to it, because it's such a fun challenge. I've also written in here Striped Jumper Day. Striped Jumper Day is probably one of my favourite days of the year. I'm going to put in a picture of me in the striped jumper, but it was a day where I went out with my best friend, who also is the person I support, and we went out and we did some shopping. I think we were doing Christmas shopping. We went into a new shop that opened, Human Sweet Human, that's where I got the jumper, and then we all went for a meal, and it was just such a happy, funny day. Everyone was in good health, and I was literally crying with laughter, and it just definitely is one of my favourite days of the year. And then I've also, the next thing I've put is the cutest outfit possible, which is this outfit, which doesn't include the striped jumper, but it will. I will recreate this look with the striped jumper, because I think that will just push it over the edge. It'd be so cute. In December I got my tree, which is very exciting. It's my first time having like last year I did have a real tree, but it was a potted one, and I got it literally like a day before Christmas just so I had it. But this is a big 6-footer. It fills up half my living room. It's hideously decorated and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's so tacky and colourful and stunning and cluttered, and everything I love about Christmas on a tree. I also did my Christmassy dolly display, and I redecorated my bedroom a little bit as well. Also, definitely one of my highlights in December has been my 12-day mystery makeup calendar. My sister has outdone every expectation I could have had, and everything has been so stunning and so fun to do, and some of it's been like a real challenge. Like, it's really got me thinking, and like even now I'm like, oh, I could have done that actually for that day, or I should have done that for that day. So it's all just, oh, I just love it so much, and I'm so grateful for her for putting in all the effort to make it happen, and it definitely, hopefully, will become a tradition. And the last thing to talk about in December and for the year was my work due. This was the outfit. And it just kind of summarised to me that I really do work with a fantastic bunch of people, and I'm really lucky to be where I am and doing what I am. And honestly, 2022 was the worst year for me, probably. It was my lowest mental health, it was my lowest with my self-worth and my connections and relationships. It was just my lowest year. And then last year in 2023, obviously these are not just like in 12-month blocks. They're like, sometimes it's part of the year, sometimes it's like a continuing process, but I feel last year I worked so hard to work on myself and become the best version of myself and be my most true version of myself and accept who I am and accept my ADHD and find ways to help my ADHD, and I continued through therapy, and like, don't get me wrong, therapy is so difficult but the most worthwhile thing you'll ever do in your life. And I think last year was like a year of just complete progress, but it was also quite challenging because I was digging myself out of the trenches, you know? Trenches? Yeah, I was digging myself out of the trenches, and now I just feel like this year, obviously there's been dips, my mental health has still had a few off days, but that I feel like I'm now reaping the benefits of last year's hard work, and I just am so grateful for myself that I put all of that work in last year, and that now I can feel this like immense level of satisfaction and joy and wonder in life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've now stopped this a few times. I feel I have been talking for maybe an hour and a half. So hopefully I cut this down to at least 20 minutes. Because that's going to be a long video to watch, all about me and my life and what 2023 had to offer. But yeah, it really has been a fantastic year, and thank you for being a part of it. And yeah, I feel 2024, crap, what am I talking about? Anyway, 2024 has been fab. Thank you for being a part of it. This video has gone on far too long now. And yes, thank you very, very much for watching, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye!